Termination, we have a quorum. Mr. Eduardo Ramirez,
Present.
Ms. Judy Solis,
Present.
Dr. B,
Present.
Mr. Lizar Velasquez,
Present.
and myself, Daniel Garcia, as president. Well, we do have a quorum. Section 2, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Section 3, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting of the September 12th, 2017. Do we have a motion for the approval of minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Section 4, public forum. Section 5, item 1, student recognition. Let's draw about Mexican music and traditions. 20th Children Drawing Contest.
Good evening, Mr. Daniel Garcia, Board President, Mr. Alfredo Garcia, Superintendent of Schools, members of the board, and audience present. Last year, Region 1, through the Bilingual Directors Meeting, invited the McAllen Mexican Embassy to present Let's Draw About Mexican Music and Traditions. Este es mi México, pintemos juntos la música y las tradiciones mexicanas, 20th Children Drawing Contest for ages 6 through 14. The McAllen Mexican Embassy, representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the Institute of the Mexicans Abroad and the representations of Mexico abroad, appreciates your support in promoting children's participation and their understanding of the topic of this drawing contest. Each participant had to name the drawing based on popular Mexican song or singers such as Paloma Negra, Amanecí otra vez, or a traditional Mexican celebration such as Dia de los Muertos, and write a brief description of it. Just recently, at the Region 1 August Bilingual Directors Meeting, the McAllen Mexican Embassy recognized 3 school districts for their participation and celebration of this event, and Rio Grande City CISD was one of them. This afternoon, it gives me great pleasure as the Bilingual Director to present to you 6 young students whose artistic talents were recognized by the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs through the Institute of the Mexican Abroad in Mexico for participating and illustrating Mexican music and traditions. I want to call the students at this time, and I would like to ask Mr. Garcia and the board if you could present. We have the drawings that they did, and we have a certificate that was given to us through the McAllen Mexican Embassy to present to these students, and we want to recognize them. So students, if you're here this afternoon, as I call your name, if you can please come forward. From early college, high school, and these students were in middle school. Obviously this year they're already in high school. So from early college, high school, we have Emily Chacon. And show your drawing so they can. And from Rio Grande City High School, we have Audrey Anel Davila. We also have Alisa Reina. We have Guillermo Villarreal. And I don't know if they're here tonight, but Fidencio Fuentes and Antonio Salazar Jr., they were also presented drawings. Congratulations to these wonderful students and their parents for their support and encouragement to celebrate Mexican music and traditions. Muchas felicidades a todos los estudiantes y sus padres por apoyarlos a valorar la música y las tradiciones mexicanas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Also, under the student recognition, I just want to take a little bit of time. I haven't seen Mr. Sines, but I do see Mindy and Mr. Olivares here present. I just wanted to recognize, and Mr. Perez, I just wanted to recognize, I know I saw it, read it on Facebook yesterday, our cross-country team were able to capture the district championship yesterday in Laredo. And it's, I believe it was the first time since 1982 and the first time in 35 years, so congratulations, real high.
Maybe we can recognize him at the next board meeting. That'd be great. At the next board meeting, maybe we can have the whole team here.
Item 2, consider and take possible action on request for use of school facilities from Preceptor Pi Beta Chapter of Beta Sigma Phi to host the Miss Stark County pageant on November 5th, 2017. Auditorium.
Mr. Board Chair, members of the board, Mr. Garcia, ladies and gentlemen, the Preceptor Pi Beta Chapter of Beta Sigma Phi is requesting the use of the RGCCISD Fort Ringgold Auditorium for the Miss Stark County pageant on November the 5th, 2017. The administration recommends approval of the request.
We have a motion, item 2.
I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3, consider and take possible action on request to use facilities from Rio Grande City Little League Board of Directors for
The Rio Grande City Little League is requesting the use of RGCCISD facilities to practice from October through the December period 2017. There's, I believe, 14 locations listed in the district. They're asking for a request and permission to allow them to be used to practice. We recommend approval.
We have a motion, item 3.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velasquez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4, consider and take possible action on request for use of school facilities from the American Cancer Society to host the Relay for Life on November 18, 2017.
The Relay for Life 2017 is requesting the use of Joe R. Sanchez Stadium for the great relay event that would take place on the 18th of November 2017. The administration recommends approval of the stadium for the relay event.
We have a motion, item 4.
I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 5, consider and take possible action on interlocal agreement between Rio Grande City Boys and Girls Club and RGCCISD to provide food services for September 2017 through September 2018.
This agreement is between Rio Grande City CISD and the City of Rio Grande City Boys and Girls Youth Club to provide food service for the 17-18 and 18-19 school years as outlined in the agreement. Rio Grande City CISD Child Nutrition Program claims all program meals for the reimbursement. I believe that last year in 16-17 we served over 7,000 meals, supper meals, and it reimbursed over $21,896. We're recommending the request for approval.
We have a motion, item 5.
I would move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I abstain.
Oh, you abstain? With Dr. B abstaining on this matter. Item 6, consider and take possible action on donations to RGCCISD.
We have 2 donations. The following donations have been received by the district. Ringo Elementary for some supplies for the students. From Pizza Hut and General Ricardo Sanchez Elementary, $100 for shirts by the Texas Delta Theta Masters Chapter Beta Sigma. We recommend approval of the donations.
We have a motion, item 6.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7, consider and take possible action on adoption of resolution for the 2017 tax roll.
The property tax code under section 2609 requires that the governing body approves the current year tax roll through a resolution at a tax rate adopted by the same governing body. The tax rate for 2017 was adopted in August 29th by a special board meeting. The district's tax assessor collector, Laura Garcia, has calculated the 2017 tax roll using the certified tax values from the appraisal district, including the freeze, levy, and the approved tax rate. The total tax roll for the 2017 is $16,208,470.64. The resolution is that being proposed is attached for your review. We recommend the approval of the resolution for the 2017 tax roll at a rate of 143.0.9 for 100 value for a total levy of $16,208,470.64.
Any discussion, item 7? We have a motion, item 7.
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8, consider and take possible action on tax refunds for the month of September 2017.
Presented is a request for approval on tax refunds for the month of September 2017. Refunds totaling $75.29 being requested. Attached is a summary of the refunds. The administration recommends approval of the refunds in the amount of $75.29.
Do we have a motion, item 8?
I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9, consider and take possible action on requisitions 5,000 and over in a 12-month aggregate.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. We do have, requisitions in the amount of $5,000 and over in 12-month aggregate for your consideration, starting on page, unless I'm missing a page here.
50.
The agenda says 49, or in the front, but yeah, I believe it's page 50. Page 50 through 56 for your consideration. There's proper funding on each of these requisitions. And I don't know if you have any questions at this moment or not.
Have any discussion, item 9? We have a motion, item 9.
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 10, consider and take possible action in awarding of the following bid, RFP number 18-08, pest control for district-wide.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. The recommendation for this particular request for proposal is to recommend all three companies, and they will be called on an as-needed basis on a, monthly. After considering all of them, that's the recommendation at this time.
We have a motion, item 10.
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 11.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Consider and take possible action on memorandum of understanding between the Department of State Health Services and RGCCISD to provide preventive dental services.
Mr. Board President, members of the board, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Garcia, item 11, respectfully seeking approval of this MOU between the district, RGCCISD, and the Department of State Health Services. We used to have these services back maybe 10 years ago. It's preventive dental work for our elementary. The MOU was sent to our local legal. Changes were made as their recommendation. This is no cost to the district. All we need is a district representative. Mr. Rolando Barrera, our coordinator for health services, is district contact. Again, this is preventive. They do have criteria where if children require more dental attention, then they will be referred to local dentists. Administration recommends approval.
All right, in discussion, item 11. We have a motion, item 11.
I I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12, consider and take possible action on operating guidelines and forms for implementing for video surveillance of special education settings.
Thank you. These guidelines were approved on October 18th, 2016. However, due to Senate Bill 1398, there was changes that have to be updated from the last legislative session. The changes are in your packet. They're lengthy. However, this has been run through our local legal also, and the recommendations have been set forth by them. There's 8 different categories in the guidelines, and there's forms that correspond to each guideline. I'm not going to walk you through all of them, but this item was also presented to Personnel and Policy Committees respectfully, and the administration recommends approval as presented in your packet.
We have a motion, item 12.
Yes, I so move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13, consider and take possible action on request from the RGCCISD Office of Human Resources, Health and Wellness for permission to host a breast cancer awareness walk on October 21, 2017 at Joe R. Sanchez Stadium.
Yes, sir. On item 13, respectfully, I request permission to host a breast cancer awareness walk, not to overlap with the item that was just approved with the Relay for Life. This is just to raise awareness on the Health and Wellness Department through the HR department. And we're proposing to hold it on October 21st, and the event shall begin, or we're proposing to begin at 8:30. And again, this is awareness. There's no money being picked up, just to get the community involved with the district. Administration recommends approval.
We have a motion, item 13.
I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 14, consider and take possible action on request from the RGCCISD Office of Human Resources, Health and Wellness for permission to host a kickball holiday tournament on December 2nd, 2017 at the Joe R. Sanchez Stadium.
Yes, sir. Before you, we respectfully seek permission to hold this kickball tournament, which, as you recall, the last one we had was a great success. A lot of people from the district came together. Department's very competitive. The campus is very competitive. The couple of changes, what's in your pass out, we're proposing December 9th instead of December 2nd, just for the record, being that our kiddos have a UIL tournament, or UIL meet, this is our elementary kids. So we're proposing December 9th instead of the 2nd, 9 a.m. And I know for the record, the item says Joe R. Sanchez. This is on the softball fields, just like we did last time. And it was a great turnout, so we're hoping for the best. Administration recommends approval.
Can we add that Mr. Dreyes not be umpire? Because he
Yes, sir.
he caused a lot of trouble last time. Okay. Fair enough.
Do we have a motion, item 14?
Under that condition, so move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 15, consider and take possible action on amendment of funding source for the Paralyzed Mathematics Consulting LLC services for the 2017-2018 school year.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, Mr. Daniel Garcia, members of the board, community members, Mr. Alfredo Garcia, Superintendent of Schools. As presented at the Curriculum Committee meeting, this is an amendment to an item that was already approved, Paralyzed Math. The only thing we are doing is changing the funding source because our original funding source was $255, but that particular budget was cut by the federal. So we are now requesting that funding is available through Funds 270, SCE 199, and Title III. We recommend approval.
Do we have any discussion, item 15? We have a motion, item 15.
I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 16, consider and take possible action on amendment of funding source for the professional services and site license agreement between RGCCISD and Sharon Wells Mathematics Curriculum Incorporated for the 2017-2018 school year.
Again, this is a mathematics program that was also approved by the board. Again, we're asking for an amendment of the funding source. Funding is now available through Funds 270, SCE 199, and Title III. And again, we recommend approval.
We have a motion, item 16.
And I so move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 17, consider and take possible action on Ready Rosie Parent Engagement Tool for the 2017-2018 school year.
Thank you, members of the board, Mr. President and Mr. Garcia. This item was discussed in the curriculum meeting. It's something that we had last year, part of the high-quality pre-K program. Ready Rosie is a friendly online-based parent engagement tool. These two empower the parents to go ahead and interact with real-life videos with situations. And it also enhances the learning of the kids as far as, oral language development and also vocabulary. We asking for your approval. It will be paid through funds available through 199 pre-K, and we ask, if you
Do we have
will
a
recommend approval.
motion, item 17?
I have a question. Ms. McKee, this is the one where they reduced the
Yes,
price quite a
yes,
bit,
sir.
right?
Last year, this program was for $14,000, and we were able to lower it all the way to half of that price for this year.
Do we have a motion, item 17?
I so move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed,
Thank
same
you.
sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 18, consider and take possible action on memorandum of understanding between UTRGV and RGCCISD.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, board members, Mr. Garcia, Superintendent of Schools. Tonight I come to you with a memorandum of understanding between UTRGV and RGCCISD that will be effective September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2018 as part of the Rio Grande City Dual Enrollment Program for students in Rio Grande City High School, Gruya High School, and the preparatory. Through this memorandum of understanding, UTRGV has agreed to waive tuition for the students, so there is no cost to the students. So at this time, I respectfully ask for approval of this item.
We have a motion, item 18.
I so move.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 19, consider and take possible action on renewal of a memorandum of understanding between Behavioral Health Solutions of South Texas and RGCCISD for the 2017-2018 school year.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board, Mr. Garcia. This is an agreement between the Behavioral Health Solutions of South Texas. It's a request to renew the MOU. It has been done in the past school year. This is a nonprofit organization and agrees to provide a full-time prevention and intervention counselor free of charge to counsel students and their parents as referred to the RGCCISD schools counselors. This again is an MOU. It has been done before. There is no charge to the district, and the advantages include prevention and intervention of drug abuse and higher attendance rate, family counseling that promotes student achievement. We respectfully recommend approval.
We have a motion, item 19.
I so move.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 20, consider and take possible action on the renewal of the iReady Diagnostic and Instruction License for the 2017-2018 school year.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Garcia. The iReady is an online program that is specifically developed and designed for our special ed students that are struggling and need of remediation. It will provide automated differentiation, online instruction, and monitor their progress as well. We do seek your approval at this time.
We have a motion, item 21.
I so move.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 22, consider and take possible action on proposed contractual service agreement between Aaron Garza, MA, LSSP, and RGCCISD for the 2017-2018 school year.
You skip 21. Yeah, skip 21.
Oh, I'm sorry, skip 21. Item 21, consider and take possible action on request for permission to purchase of the Redwell K-3 Comprehensive Reading and Language Arts Curriculum for the 2017-2018 school year.
The Read Well K-3 is a reading and language art solution program that would help our students build the skills needed to be successful readers and learners. This is a research-based program that would allow teachers to effectively target students at all stages of development. This will be used for our K-2 students, and this will be used for our Tier 3 students.
Do we have a motion, item 21?
I move to approve this item as presented.
We have a motion by Ms. Solis. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 22, consider and take possible action on proposed contractual service agreement between Aaron Garza, MAA LSSP, and RGCCISD for the 2017-2018 school year.
Okay. Ms. Erin Garza is an LSSP, which she will be conducting our psychological evaluations. We do recommend for approval.
Item 22, do we have a motion, item 22?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 23, consider and take possible action on proposed 2017-2018 high school after-school programs.
Good evening, Board President, members of the Board, Mr. Garcia, Superintendent. We are asking approval for the after-school and Saturday high school programs. The proposed programs are the SCE Credit Recovery Program, SCE Credit by Exam Program, and the Title I School After-School Program. It will begin the third week of October and end in May 2018 for all three high schools. The SCE Credit Recovery Program will continue through June of 2018. The total cost of the SCE Credit Recovery Program is $21,600. The SCE Credit by Exam Program, $14,040. And the high school after-school tutorial program will be $101,250 for a grand total of $136,890. Funding will come from Title I, 211, and SCE 199. We are asking for approval.
On discussion, item 23.
Mr. Gonzalez, I think this will also reduce, right, significantly from...
Dramatically.
We have a motion, item 23.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 24, consider and take possible action on courses beginning offered by the Career and Technical Education Department for Gruya High School through RGV VOTEC for the 2017-2018 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Board President, board members, Mr. Superintendent. Career and Technology is respectively asking permission to go ahead and go with our vendor with Rio Grande Valley VOTEC. Right now at Gruya High, as you well know, we don't have any nursing teachers, so we have to subcontract to afford the students the industry-based certifications that is now required for the evaluation of our districts and of course of the state board requirements. So basically we have some nurses that are teaching the following courses, which are the CNA, the CMA, Assistant and Certified Medical Billing and Coding. We grew the program so much that last year there was 96 certifications produced by these instructors. But as you well know, for them to get these certifications, there are 2-year programs. They need the basics, which is medical terminology. And we outgrew the program so much that we had to solicit or require another instructor to teach the medical terminology. So we're respectfully asking your permission to hire this Rio Grande City VOTEC for Gruya High School.
Any discussion, item 24? We have a motion, item 24.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything on reports?
10 minutes. You said 10 minutes.
Good evening again, Mr. Garcia, Board President, members of the Board, Mr. Garcia, Superintendent of Schools. Texas Administrative Code 891265 requires that the Bilingual Department presents the annual Bilingual ESL evaluation, and Texas Administrative Code 891267 requires that we present the annual evaluation of the dual language program. So I do have 2 evaluations for you. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. Please bear with me. So like I said, Texas Administrative Code 891265 just requires that the evaluation be presented The next one, Dr. There. Okay. And then we do have the programs that we have for the regular bilingual ESL program from first grade and on. Elementary, we have the transitional bilingual late exit. As you all know, for pre-K through first, we do have the dual language. I'll present that in a minute. And the transitional bilingual late exit just requires that as the student become more proficient in English, then we start dropping the Spanish and they go towards more English instruction. And we cannot exit them until the end of 5th grade. Then we have for middle schools and high schools, English as a second language, content-based program. And this program requires that the teachers, help the students acquire the English language. And they cannot exit the program until 2 years, and they must provide activities and instruction for these students to help them support the English language acquisition. Then I also wanted to present to you, we had, when TA came in, we had 6 required actions that the bilingual department needed to address. And so here they are. Number 1 was with the district recruitment program. So we work with the human resources department. And from now on, elementary teachers do have the bilingual certificate. And for the for the middle schools and high schools, we're trying to get the language arts teachers to have the ESL certification. And if they don't have it, they go on a permit, and within a year, they try to take the test. And we are providing trainings to help all the teachers in those areas. On item number 2, they asked for the roles and responsibilities of the bilingual director, that they be revised and that also support be provided so that the program could be implemented with fidelity. Once again, we form a committee of different people, including human resources, principals, counselors. The bilingual roles and responsibilities were revised, and human resources took care of addressing that through the board. And as far as support, we have implemented dual language program. We do have Imagine Learning. We have hired 2 ESL strategists to help in the bilingual department, and we have very strong LPAC participation from the campuses. Item number 3 was to implement a framework, and we did that also by forming a committee from different grade levels, and we addressed that, and it was approved on January 2017 of this year by the school board. Item number 4 was to provide staff development to help the teachers implement the program effectively and to gather quantitative and qualitative data. We have been training teachers with the help of Region 1 and through different programs such as, like I said, the SIOP, TELPAS analysis, ELL parental training, ELL Academy, and we also have conducted surveys, walkthroughs to help the teachers and we've been meeting with different grade levels to see what they need, and so we can provide that for them. Then item number 5, last year we had Region 1 come in and conduct an evaluation. It was presented last year to all of you, the findings, and it was basically on the LPAC folders that needed to be addressed. And then the last one, as far as the TA findings, was the development of an internal improvement plan to address any findings or areas of concern. We did revise the instructional plan and design for the bilingual, and it was presented to all of you on July 2017, and it was board approved. As of right now, we have complied with TA in all these areas, and on the PBMAS report, when they came in, we were at a stage 3. Last year, we went to stage 2, and next week, the formula comes out for the new staging, and everything points we might be at a stage 1, but I cannot just yet announce it, okay? All right. And then the next is the STAR data. Very quickly, 3rd grade, we had improvement in all areas, even though, the percentages might still be, you might say, well, we're not in the 80s, but there was tremendous improvement, and I will show you that. 3rd grade, mostly all the students are also bilingual students, so we're at a 63% in reading, mathematics 69%. 4th grade, we're at a 65% in reading, mathematics 77%, and writing 59% for bilingual, 60 for all students. It's 1 point difference there. 5th grade, with the second administration, we're at a 75% in reading, mathematics at an 88%, and sciences at 70%. And then middle school, 6th grade, that's where we are struggling there, but there was still improvement. We have 48% with the ESL population in 6th grade and a 70% in mathematics. In 7th grade, reading was a 60%, and then mathematics 65, and ESL 63 for writing. In 8th grade, we had, with the 2 administrations, 65 for the ESL in reading, 66 for mathematics, and then science was a 51, and social studies is the area where we need the most improvement with a 33%. And then we have the high school and high school algebra 1, we're at a 70%, biology 62, English 1, That's another area that we're working very closely with the high schools because we're at a 20% there with the ESL population. And then we also have English 2 at a 17% and ESL for U.S. history at a 76%. So it's the English and, of course, where we're working with that area. Then the next is the PBMS report for last year, actually 2017. And what I want to show to you is on the next one, Dr. Trevino. Here, all the ones we had gains basically in all, there's 9 indicators in the bilingual ESL PBMS report. We had gains in almost all of them. Just for the first one, writing was the area where we went down a little bit. What you see in red is where we went down. What you see in black was all the improvements that we had. In the denials, we're trying to work with those parents, and those kids. We do have 14 kids last year, and so we went up there a little bit. So on the denials because they don't get any accommodations. And the other one was in the year after exit with the monitor ones in reading. We had also a little drop there, so we're working with that group as well. Okay, and then the next one is the TELPAS. On TELPAS, we were, before I go to that one, Dr. Trevino, on TELPAS reading at the beginning level, we went down a little bit there, and then the TELPAS composite rating, which is kids in the U.S. 5 or more years, we stay at a stage 2. So once again, we're addressing that population, and I do want to point to the school board that this year, the state is changing the testing for TELPAS. TELPAS listening and speaking will be online. So it's going to be a challenge, We do anticipate that for next year, some of these scores either might remain the same or even go higher because we don't know how this testing is going to go. It's the first time, but we're working with the schools already with purchasing headphones and making sure that the kids, through the microphone, speak on programs like Imagine Learning and start practicing all the listening skills that need to be addressed. So just for your information on that. Then the next chart is where I color-coded for you, and I put the last 3 years. And as you can see, the one in purple is 2017. And everything that is in yellow, that means that indicator level performance decreased. In other words, we did better. And everything that is in green stayed the same, and the blue is the areas where we need to work on. So we have had tremendous improvement there. And then the next item is we do have, and I also give you the last 3 years, but we have the enrollment for our district is 69% overall from all the campuses, and we had 391 students that exited the program this year. Last year we had 71. This year we had 391. So we are also improving on that area, and that was a 5%. And then parental denials, like I said, overall we had 24, but for the PBMAS report, which they count grades 3rd through 8, it was only 14. Okay? And then you have the monitor 1s and 2s. Now, I also want to inform the board that next school year, under the new ESA, the monitors are going to go for 4 years. We're going to have monitor 1, monitor 2, monitor 3, and monitor 4. We're going to have to monitor them for 4 years in a row. Okay? And then the next one, we have all the different ELL population by campus, the percentages, and then the number of recent immigrants in grades 3 to 5, we had 109, grades 6 through 8, we had 25, and grades 9 through 12, we had 39. And then we go into TELPAS, and TELPAS very quickly, I do have it by schools, and what I just want to point to you, I have the reading and I have the composite, which includes listening, speaking, reading, and writing, but the goal here is to move the kids from the beginning and intermediate to the advanced and advanced level. So when you look at 5th grade, like Alto Bonito, they have 8% beginners. That's a low number, and that's what we want. Actually, we want to lower that number. Where we have higher percentages is where we need to work with those schools. Gruya, just for your information, Gruya had a 20% on the beginners. Then we have La Union at a 6%, Dr. Ramirez at a 7%, and I'm looking just at 5th grade, okay? Then we have Hinojosa at 8%, Ringgold at 12%, North Grammar at 14%, and Roque Guerra at 10%. And then we have General Sanchez at 8%, and we have Gruya Middle at 7%. Obviously, at the middle schools, we do not want to have beginners and intermediate because they've been, most of these kids have been already in the U.S. 5 or more years. And so those beginners and those intermediate are the ones that are giving us the stage 2. So we have 7% for Gruya Middle and 17% for intermediate. And then we have Ringgold Middle 4% and 24% for intermediate. And then veterans, we have a 6% and a 16% for intermediate in the area of reading. And then we have the high schools. Obviously, early college, we don't have beginners, but we do have 5 intermediate. That's 5%. And then Gruya High School, 11% beginners, 38% intermediate, and Rio High, 17% beginners, 24% intermediate. So that's the population, once again, that we're targeting this year. And then comparing that to the state for pre-K through, from kinder through second was at a 45%. Our district last year was at a 38%. This year we're at a 41%. So we had a 3% increase. And then for grades 3 to 12, the state was at a 50, and last year was a 50, and this year was also a 50. So we did not go up, we maintained. We stay the same there. And then we do present the progress to parents through the LPAC committee and through the progress reports and report cards. And we also provide the different professional development to the staff. And we do have parental trainings. We worked last year with the parental department, and we're working this year with the FACE department. And we do have 2 parental sessions per semester, one first semester, one second semester. In the second semester, we invite campus teachers to be the ones presenting to the parents the activities they do with the student. And then we do have district and campus collaboration through the SBDM committees. And then I just wanted to show you the bilingual benefits that the flyer that we provide to campuses so they can give to the parents. And for this evaluation, I do have a quick 3-minute video. Go to the video. The next one. Go to the next one. The next one. There, and then go to
so much fun. We flew rockets, we flew drones, we got to do teams and fly it outside and get us an ingeniero. Today was so awesome. I get to fly rockets, I get to play with some robots and learn about future technology. Today I got to use a VR, go like this. I got to fly a rocket and I was actually pretty good at controlling a robot. I think in the future I might be an engineer, and I might want to go to Mars one day. Yo quiero ir al colegio para lograr grandes cosas. Quiero que mi familia sea muy orgullosa de mí y quiero hacer un cambio positivo en el mundo. I think this will help me when I'm older because I could show my sisters about it. Maybe they'll be engineers like me. Learning both languages, it's gonna help me a lot in the future because I have more chances to get a job. Porque puedo trabajar aquí y puedo ir al otro lado del mundo. Bilingual department for this opportunity. I want to thank the bilingual department for leading me to the great future. Gracias, Departamento Bilingüe, for teaching me to conquer the world.
And now the dual language. And it's going to go quick.
We're going to need an intermission.
Did you mention something, that we have some beginners at the high school?
Yes, sir.
Are those recent immigrants?
Some are recent immigrants, sir, and some are not. Some, have been here, since elementary, but they have been not showing progress. They're still beginners. Some of them are special ed students because the special ed students are also bilingual ESL students. Yes. And we've been working, when we go to the bilingual directors meeting, even last year when we had a representative from TA, we do mention to them that it's not fair the way they evaluate special ed students, especially with the exit criteria, because they expect for them to meet the same guidelines as the regular students, and that is not fair. And it's something that we keep addressing to TA. Hopefully, they're forming new divisions, and hopefully with that, we can get, a different criteria for those students to be able to show progress there. Just very quickly on the dual language, We do have a diverse population. Like I mentioned, we do have 69% of students that speak a language other than English. Just in our district, we do have 3 different languages that are spoken. Obviously in our schools, we do have 2, which is the English and Spanish, but we're getting other, nationalities. We do have, we have 1 student that is from South Korea. So we do have, obviously, the Filipino students who speak the Tagalog. So and the law requires that if eventually we get 20 students that speak a different language like that in a particular grade level, we do have to offer.
Is sign
that.
language considered a foreign language?
In a way, yes, I would say. So, yes. Okay, but the law requires that if we were to get, let's say, 20 Filipino students in 2nd grade, the district would have to hire a Filipino teacher to be able to teach the native language of those students. We're not there yet. Our district is growing, but not at that level. Obviously, there's other districts in the valley that they're already at that level. Okay. And then under the dual language program, it is an optional program, but once parents make a commitment, they do have to be on it for 5 years, for 6 to 7 years, which is until the end of 5th grade. And last year, we started the implementation of dual language in pre-K and K. Like I mentioned, Texas Administrative Code 89-1267 is the one that requires that we present the evaluation on an annual basis. And 89-1227 provides the minimum requirements for dual language immersion. And it does require that it has to be a 50-50 program. We try our best to stick to that model. Based on our student needs, sometimes we modify that towards a little bit more English and less Spanish, but we try to stick to the 50-50 because that's what the program requires by TEA. Okay. 89-1228 is the dual language program implementation model. It does require that we have a policy in place as to how the eligibility criteria of these students, program purpose, and the grade levels in which the program will be implemented. And we did address that with the human resources, and it was addressed to the board as well. And then we do have, our program is dual language immersion one way. And that's where the goal is to the development of fluency and literacy in English and another language for all students, with special attention given to the English language learners participating in the program, the integration of English speakers and English language learners for academic instruction in accordance with the program design and model, and the promotion of bilingualism, biliteracy, cross-cultural awareness, and high academic achievement. Students participating in the program will develop high linguistic proficiency in 2 languages, attain high academic proficiency in 2 languages, develop positive cross-cultural attitudes, biculturalism, and have a rigorous academic program that accelerates their learning. And this is just research that has been done throughout the nation. The line across, the black line, is the average of students that are native English speakers for reading. The only 2 bilingual programs that surpass that, according to research, are the dual language programs, 2-way and 1-way. Then, as you all know, we adopted the Gomez and Gomez dual language enrichment, and these are just the instructions that the program provides. The language of instruction, we go by the days. 1 day is English, 1 day is Spanish. We do have conceptual refinement to support the students in their language, in their second language. And we do have scaffolding. We do have bilingual learning centers. We do have non-instructional school language that is promoted throughout the campus. And we do have this triangle that we've been sharing with the teachers in the lower grade levels to let them know that when the students are learning a second language, the areas that are being done in Spanish, and that is the second language they're learning, there has to be more of the BICS, the basic interpersonal skills, which is more oral activities. When they're in pre-K, kinder, and first, if you want them to learn a second language, you have to first let them hear it. And through songs, through music, through different games, things like that. And then the writing comes from second grade on. So, and then I gave you the population of, based on last year by the schools, by the elementaries, how many students were in the dual language program, pre-K, and then kinder. Total, we had pre-K 451, and kinder we had 507. And then, of course, I also gave you the IPT, which is the online test that we use to assess fluency in English and Spanish. And I do require the next form from all campuses, where at the end of the year they need to show me how the kids are moving from A to B, which is beginner to beginner, a little bit higher. And then we have from B to C, which is intermediate low to intermediate higher, then C to D. Eventually, we want from D to E, which is advanced to advanced high. And as you can see there, in pre-K, we had 86 that moved from A to B, 77 from B to C, 76 from C to D, and 153 that moved from D to E. This is in English. In kinder, it was 33 students moved from A to B, 56 from B to C, 44 C to D, 65 D to E, and 66 E to F. And then in first grade, even though, I'm not going to go over that because it's barely this year, the implementation in dual language. Last year, it was not in first grade. And then, of course, then we have Spanish. As you can see in Spanish, we also have in pre-K, from A to B, 93, from B to C, 96, from C to D, 67, and so on. So there's been improvement in both languages. Okay. We also get reports like Imagine Learning, where in those reports we do have proficiency, and as you can see, the program requires that they be around the 75%. Most of the grade levels either got there or surpassed that, except for pre-K, and kinder is barely at the almost 75. But those grade levels are just, they're at the beginning. Okay. But everybody else that was using the program was improving. Student progress, the same thing. We start with one lesson, and then it shows you all the lessons that they finished throughout the year. You know, so as you can see, like fifth grade, they went from 12 to 136. Pre-K, they went from 1 to 25. Kinder from 17 to 51. Okay, and then we have also on vocabulary, and as you can see, they started at a 9, which is almost level 1, and then pre-K finished at a 43, which is almost reaching level 3. And then kinder, we had a 16 to a 45. And then it also gives you in Spanish, you know, Spanish was only being used by pre-K, but it also shows you the growth that we had there. And then we also have the CLI Engage, and on this one, as you can see, everything that is in black, it was a gain. We had gains in almost all areas that the CLI component covers. And that is phonological awareness, that is math, that is language arts and communication, emergence, and then also in Spanish. And then we have also iStation, you know, and it provides reports. And this one, we're using it for the tiers. We want students to go from tier 3 to tier 1. Okay, and we had gains as well in that. And then the last is TELPAS. And TELPAS, we don't have it for pre-K, but we do have it for kinder. And just so that you know, obviously, our goal is to have more kids as they progress throughout the years to move to the advanced. But as you can see, you have the beginners there, and then you have the intermediate, and then we also have already kids in the advanced level at 18% in the district total, and even at the advanced high, at the end of kinder, we had a 3%. And I had already covered over the state, and then these are some of the surveys that we send for parents, teachers, doing the dual language, and then the responses are on the next page. Most of them were positive responses, and there were a few that we're addressing, you know, especially with staff development. That's where the teachers wanted more of that. And then we have the ELL progress to parents, the same as the other program, the professional development. And go to the video, Dr. Trevino. And this is a 2-minute video on dual language. And after that, I do thank you for your attention.
I would like to mention that we had a very interesting meeting I invited all the pre-K and K teachers for a meeting, and then all the curriculum department and all the curriculum department, we got involved to make sure that we saw basically where we're at with the dual language and get feedback from the teachers at the end of the first 6 weeks to make sure that we make ourselves available. And Mr. Trias and I are visiting at least 2 campuses per week, all pre-K and Ks, to see that the instruction is taking place and that we're doing it in the proper language of instruction. So we're seeing really good, exciting things. Today we were at Alto Bonito. And I invite you all to go visit the pre-K and K and see that the foundation is there, and we'll be doing very well at the end of the school year.
program is both comprehensive and detailed, with a number of activities that take into account the academic and linguistic developmental growth of children, developing their first language and adding a second one. ¿Por qué está triste? Porque el enojo la
papá. Se enojó el papá. ¿Por qué se enojó el papá? Porque estaba hablando mucho. Estaba hablando mucho.
Dual language provides instruction of subject areas in only one of the two languages, with ongoing vocabulary enrichment in the opposite language of instruction.
Dos patas, ¿qué más tiene el pájaro? ¿Qué más tiene el pájaro? Ashley, ¿qué más? Alas. Alas, vamos a hacer un gator chop.
Our dual language program uses bilingual centers pre-kinder through second grade and bilingual research centers beginning in third grade.
La primera oración que tenemos ahí. Ese día se utilizaba su carro rojo para ayudar a cada animalito. Y toda la oración la empezamos con letra mayúscula.
Here at Dr. Mario Ramirez, we've been using our dual language model, which is a concept of bilingual pairs for increased student engagement in all classroom learning activities. This is our first year we use this model, and I can really tell how the kids are engaging together and how they actually enjoy working with each other and help each other.
Rio Grande City CISD dual language program follows 6 major components which contribute to the overall success of the model. It starts at grade level, heterogeneous instructional grouping, separation of languages for content area instruction, computer support, vocabulary enrichment, and conceptual refinement and academic rigor. Dual language is a very beneficial program for the students because students do learn both languages simultaneously, English and Spanish.
I feel that the implementation of dual language has been very positive. It allows students to be fully immersed in the use of two languages, with the ultimate goal of making them bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural.
What I like about the bilingual program is that it helps you learn both languages, English and Spanish. Me gusta el programa porque mi maestra me enseña unas materias en inglés y otras en español. Me encanta, it's amazing. I learned dual language because I have learned to understand two languages. I learned to speak two languages. I have learned to read two languages. I have learned to write two languages. ¡Valemos por dos!
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Is there anything else on reports?
Do we dare ask? No.
It is now 7:28. We'll be heading into the closed session on the authority of the Texas Government Code Section 551.071.
No, we do. Yeah, we do. We do everything. Yes, let's do it.
It is 8:47. We're out of executive session.
Just like baseball shortstop.
We have item A. Do we have a motion, item A?
It's always. It's always there.
I move that we approve item A as discussed in executive session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item B, do we have a motion, item B?
I move that we approve item B as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion on item B. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item C, do we have a motion, item C?
I move that we approve item C as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item D, do we have a motion, item D?
I move that we approve item D as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item F, do we have a motion, item F?
I move that we approve item E as discussed in executive session.
F?
F, I'm sorry.
Oh. We have a motion, item F by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Wait, do we skip
Did we make one? We skipped D, right?
Did we do E?
We skipped D.
Okay. Item E, do we have a motion, item E?
Did you read it?
I don't read it.
I move that we approve item E as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion, item E. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item F, we have a motion, item F.
I move that we approve item F as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion, item F by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item G, do we have a motion, item G?
Move that we approve item G as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item H, do we have a motion, item H?
I move that we approve item H as discussed in executive session.
Item H, do we have a second? We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second for item H?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Do we have a motion, item I?
I move that we approve item I as discussed in executive session.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second on item I?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item J. We have a motion, item J.
I move to deny item J as presented in closed session.
We have a motion by Mr. Velazquez on item J. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item K is no action. Item L, do we have a motion, item L1 and 2? Or do I have to read those?
With regards to item L1, I move to approve the settlement as discussed in executive session. And with regards to L2, I move to authorize the administration and general counsel to file and negotiate any possible bankruptcy claims regarding the Texas Association of Public Schools.
We have a motion, item L1 and 2. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Velazquez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
We have a motion, Mr. Ramirez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. B. It is 8:51. Meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you so much.